And a left turn and a left downwind. Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down, low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, 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 go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final, you're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold, take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final, runway 9er clear to land.
Okay, all right, let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Oh, we had one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger, let's see, what we got, a tricycle, put it down, tricycle, put it down, put it down. Tail dragger, down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here, you clear to land on 9, all the way to the white dot, go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Canard, just come to the runway and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Canard's going to have to go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. Do not descend. Do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. You can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the downwinds. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. Clear to land on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow out there, follow on the final. And as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Canard?
Yeah, Canard.
All right, Canard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just maintain VFR. I don't know what else is up there above you. Probably most everybody's down here, so just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get you back here.
Canard's got the jet in sight.
Okay, the RV, maybe an RV-10, whatever, you're on final. Keep your speed up and go all the way down to the, aim for the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. Aim for the green dot, and I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around.
Yeah, follow.
Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that after 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. Put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep it.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, three, two, one.
Hello, hello. Oh, sorry, James. I've got to say goodbye. You're secret. You're supposed to be secret and in the green room. Oh, God. That's IT mistake number one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday evening's live stream. It's going to be a challenging one tonight for various reasons, mainly to do with my incompetence, but there you go. So, welcome. Hello, everybody. I've got a bit of a last-minute IT nightmare, having dealt with, not me personally, but other people having dealt with the Flyer forums, which we'll come back to in a bit. The gremlin appears to have moved itself to my own computer and YouTube and Bluetooth connection. Anyway, what a pain. Right, which is why I've got this little thing to remind me. So first of all, thank you very much to our sponsor SkyDemon for sponsoring the show. We couldn't do it without you, at least not to this highly professional standard, which costs us hundreds of thousands of pesos a year. But anyway, here is the SkyDemon top tip for this week.
Hi, I'm Rob from SkyDemon, and here's another top tip. You might already know that you can pull out the direction indicator while in flight to make it into an HSI, but this tool has another function too. When you've chosen a runway for an approach, the instrument simulates the display of an instrument landing system. While in this mode, you'll see the deflection from the extended center line represented with these dots. By keeping the magenta bar in the middle of the crosshairs, you'll know you're right on track, which we can also see here on the map. Additionally, the time and distance instruments will count you down to the runway threshold. This instrument can be really useful to help you line up early if visibility is bad, or for practicing instrument approach techniques at airfields that don't have a real ILS. It's important to remember though, that being based on GPS, it shouldn't be used as your sole means of guidance. For more information, check out our website or our user manual from within the app.
There you go.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I suspect there's a whole world of people out there all of a sudden going, well, I'm going to make a GPS approach.
I'm going to make a GPS approach with little pseudo ILS needles, and they could probably it even works when you fly into faraway common, which we'll come to later, no doubt. Excuse me. So, thank you very much, SkyDemon, for that. And while we're on SkyDemon, just to let you know that there should real soon now be a video coming up with the next compilation of 10 tips. So basically, we've taken the weekly tips and we've combined them together. I think that was number 46. So we're actually doing we're a little bit behind. There's one top 10 tip out. There's a next top 10 tips out very soon, probably in the next day or so. And thinking about it, there's also a video interview with Tom. What am I right? Oh, I'm having a bad night. Tim Dawson, the founder and creator of SkyDemon, on our YouTube channel. So head on over there if you want to know a little bit more about their background to SkyDemon. Right, I think I need to
link in the comments to the Tim interview.
Thank you very much. That's very slick, Ed. And I have to say, I don't know what you lot are all looking like on the screen and what we're looking like on the screen, but I'm getting a bit worried about Johnny. He's looking quite green there.
he's a little.
I hope you're okay, Johnny.
Oh no.
Anyway, enough of people's colours. Simon's not with us tonight, but he did send us a video with the weekend weather, which I'm sure we're all really keen to find out about. So let's take a look at Simon's weather.
Evening, everybody. Sorry I can't be with you tonight. In the middle of a birthday celebration. Not mine. I hasten to add my youngest daughter's 18th birthday. Remember those days? It was a bit of a time ago for me. I don't know about you. Anyway, got good news for you, because it looks like we're going to get some decent flying in as we go through this weekend. This is the chart for tomorrow, for Friday. Got some showers affecting western parts of Scotland, western parts of Ireland. Pretty windy here as well. Gusts of up to 30 knots. Elsewhere, looks as if it is going to be a pretty decent day. Still quite breezy with that southwesterly wind. Typically around 15 to 18 knots for many of us. Cloud bases, though, looking at being easily 3 to 4,000 feet and above for most. May just go to sort of 2,000 foot in any heavier showers across western Scotland and western parts of Ireland. Now, on to Saturday. Low pressure still northwest of Scotland. Still the isobars quite close together, so still quite breezy. It'll be northern England, Scotland and Ireland that see the strongest of the winds. Perhaps gusts of 25 to 30 knots, up to 40 knots across the west coast of Scotland. Front comes in through western Scotland, through Ireland during the day, brings some cloud, brings some rain with it, puts us into generally non-VFR conditions in these areas. The bases probably are going to be coming in at somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000 feet in the rain, tops at about 12 to 15,000 feet. But elsewhere, eastern Scotland, most of northern England, most of Wales, southern, central and eastern and southwestern parts of England look flyable throughout the day. Bases around 4,000 feet and the top's going to be up to about 8,000 feet. Just need to watch for 1 or 2 showers northwest England and western parts of Wales. But you see there, it's not bad at all, really. And then for Sunday, yes, a few showers affecting western Scotland and Ireland once again, maybe 1 or 2 across northwest England. But even here, generally it's going to be VFRable through the day. Bases around 3 to 4,000 feet, tops probably up at about 12 to 15,000 feet in any showers. But otherwise, we're looking at bases 4,000 feet, tops at about 8,000 feet. Much lighter winds across much of England and Wales and southern Ireland. Probably more cloud around, actually, than we'll see through much of the weekend. But generally, it's looking pretty darn good. So, yeah, a good weekend, I think, to be had by all. Now, if you're thinking about coming on to Aviation Weather School, all of my courses are full, going through to actually through the rest of the summer to early September. I'm about to announce the new date for Aviation Weather School Part 1 online. So if you want to be added onto that list, go to weatherschool.co.uk, use the contact form there, just let me know that you want to go onto the list, and I'll let you know as soon as that date is announced. Okay then, I will leave you with that for now. Have a superb flying weekend won't you? Make the most of the weather that's coming up, even if it is a little bit breezy. I have to say it's not looking particularly grand going through next weekend and into the weekend after. So yeah, try and make the most of what we've got ahead. Have a great one. See you soon. Bye-bye for now.
Right, that's Johnny has moved into prison or something and frozen.
I'm free.
Poor Johnny.
Okay, Johnny.
Am I moving now?
No.
Oh. Okay.
No.
You are but a picture.
Wow.
You've been mucking around with backgrounds, haven't you?
Yeah, he's probably used all of the computing capacity of his mega computer just to keep that brick wall up there. Well, we'll let Johnny play with his wall for a little bit. At least he's got 3 news stories to get through before we come to you, Johnny.
Good.
So there you go. He's back. Let's kick off.
Am I back?
Yes.
You are back indeed. Yeah. Let's kick off the news with Dave. Dave's got a story about a story of eternal optimism. I'm going to put this one down to.
No.
Well, I mean, in aviation, there are eternal optimists. And this story is about a new lease of life for the GA7 Cougar. The GA stands for either Grumman American or Gulfstream American, whichever one you prefer. The GA7 Cougar light twin is going to come with a variety of possible power units, from a diesel to a hybrid electric or the original O320s. So it's a project that, first of all, I want to say the GA7 is type certified across Europe and the US and was designed by Grumman American, which changed its name to Gulfstream American just before production started in 1978. Production lasted just 2 years with 115 delivered. Now, a chap called Wayne Mansfield, who started a company called Cougar Aircraft Company, bought the rights to the Cougar from Sakata, who for some reason in history held them, and he's going to reintroduce the aircraft. The aim is to produce an updated aircraft with a choice of engines. He's been speaking to Soleil about a diesel conversion, and he said he's always harboured a not so secret desire to put a pair of Allison C250s. That's a pair of turbines on there. Wow. That said, said Wayne, backtracking back quickly, the GA7 is a fine airplane offering good performance at a lower cost with the unleaded approved O320. So he's thinking about the training market. He says a new GA7 with reduced weight with a glass panel and lightweight props and accessories would be a star. What's more, with jet and sustainable aviation fuel power plants, the global market would open right up. And he finishes off, he remains committed to making this an American project and not funded by China.
Yeah. Well, two things. Who remembers? So, Dave, you reminded us that TBM once owned the Cougar. Can you remember because TBM were going to put it back into production? Ian knows what the name is. It was going to be the TBM
Tangara.
Correct.
Yes. And also known as a 360.
And it was parked out the back of one of their sheds in a few bits the last time I saw it, which was quite a few years ago.
That's it. And interestingly, if you think about it, the as revealed on the live stream a couple of weeks ago by the Sling guys, Rotax have got the new Turbo 916 coming down the line. Now that would be probably quite two of those on a Cougar. That would be quite good, I would think.
Mm. And a third thing, what was the guy's name? Wayne.
Wayne.
Yeah. Wayne. I don't know Wayne. I've never met Wayne. I'm glad there are people like Wayne in aviation. I think it's fantastic. And I think Wayne has a fighting chance of proving that cliche about starting aviation with a big fortune and ending up with a small one.
But the Cougar, everyone who flies a Cougar rates it highly as a twin. They're really well thought after, aren't they? So,
well, I flew one once, and
you didn't like it.
It's not that I didn't like it. It was just like it's a bit marginal. The weight and balance is quite. You need to be quite careful on the weight and balance. It wasn't a load lifter, shall we say? Maybe I was just flying a particularly heavy example, or maybe I'd had even more pies than usual, or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was. But there you go. Well, good luck, Wayne.
Yeah.
If we hear from you again in this project, well, I guess we'll see you at Oshkosh, won't we? Yeah, good luck. Well done, Wayne. Ed, talking about projects that were dreams, one that's actually come true. Tell us about Pod.
Yes, a big reminder. There's an opportunity to support the brilliant aviation charity Fly to Help and hear Rolls-Royce Chief Test Pilot Phil O'Dell talk about the electric record-breaking Rolls-Royce XL aircraft. And big plus, you get to be part of a live stream. So I hear you all asking, where does this take place? It's at on the 16th of June, which is next Thursday at Aerospace Bristol, and it'll be under the wings of Concorde. Johnny and I were there yesterday checking the place out. You might have seen us if you watched the live stream extra. And it's on from 18, I think I've got 18:30 till 10 o'clock. It might be 6 o'clock though, so check the times on Fly to Help. There's an exclusive out of hours viewing of exhibits until 10 p.m. There's a buffet. Tickets are £45, which obviously goes to help support the charity. And obviously you can join in with the live stream. And I think we're going to be streaming the event as well, aren't we?
We are. The plan is we're going to set it up somehow. We're going to do the live stream for 7:30 as normal. And then we're going to switch straight into Pod and then going to stream the bit that Pod's doing as well, so you can watch the talk. But that doesn't get you off the hook. That gets you off the hook of buying a 45 quid ticket, but it doesn't get you off the hook of donating. So we will be asking you to donate some money to a very worthy cause. And I should just point out that the 45 quid ticket price is a Fly to Help thing with the buffet and everything like that. It's not a live stream ticket price, because clearly that would be more expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it would be more expensive because we got bills to pay. Which brings me to my news story, which is the forum. If you have been on the forums for the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, however long it was, you would have noticed that they were crawling along. They were slower than a slow thing on a slow day. They were slower than a nose wheel maul at 50% power, and that's saying something. But now they are super fast. We fixed it, or I didn't fix it. Someone who knows what they're doing fixed it, and they're super fast. Touch wood, they'll remain that way. So go enjoy the forums, enjoy them. Thank you very much on that one, Johnny.
Yeah, so this is about a man who's been doing a lot of running. So probably most of you will know him if you're on Twitter or Instagram or even Facebook and LinkedIn, because he's active on all of them. But Sam Worthington-Lees, who is a commercial pilot, and he's flown Spitz, and he now does the taxi, or some of the taxiing of the Lanc at East Kirkby. He's been running 6.66 miles every day for 100 days, or has averaged out that. So he's basically run 666 miles in the past 100 days to raise money for the Hawker Typhoon Preservation Group, which he kind of founded and is leading on. So that's all in aid of raising money for, getting that project going. They're fairly well in terms of very rare aircraft projects. They've got the engine, which is amazing. They've got basically a factory-produced, sealed, never used engine for it. But it's the rest of the airframe that needs all the work. It's going to cost a lot of money to get it done. I'm a member, and I've got a membership card somewhere on my desk. But it's worth going along. He's now, as he said, he started running 100 plus days ago now. But people were kind of holding back their donations just to see if he actually did it, and he has done it. So if you are one of those people, go ahead, go to the Fly website. We've got a news story about him. Click on the link. You can contribute there through crowdfunder.co.uk. Give him some money. It's going to a good cause, and if we see that aeroplane flying on the circuit one day, then you could say you helped put it there.
That's a major project as well. Cool.
Just popped a link into the comments with Sam's crowdfunder page. So
wow,
thank you, Dave.
We are sharp on the links in the comments today, aren't we? Well done, everybody. Okay, coming up to what I think is probably my favourite story of the night, and the picture in the captions, I can see it, but you can't, is simply titled WTAF. So I'm going to leave this one to Dave. Dave, do tell us about this.
Right, it's a flying motorcycle. It does 200 miles an hour. I don't know how far off the ground you are when you're flying 200 miles an hour, whether you're 1 foot off the ground or 50 feet. But your terrain following has got to be damn good, that's for sure. So if you remember jetpack pilot David Mayman, the guy who originally sort of invented, or one of the originals, invented the jetpack, he did some flights over water around London, Docklands and various other places. Anyway, he's created a new company called Mayman Aerospace, and he's just unveiled his flight-ready prototype of what he calls the Speeder Air Utility Vehicle. We call it a mad project. But anyway, the P2 Speeder has 8 jet engines, and it's his third project, actually. But this one is the one that he's going to start trying to get FAA certification on. Good luck with that. And initial test flights, quite wisely, will be remotely controlled, but somebody will be getting on it towards the end of the year to fly it. It's similar in size to a motorbike, but he has, as well as offering, as well as being sort of a flying motorcycle idea, he has got some serious ideas for it. There's going to be a drone version, and the drone version will be used for things like firefighting and various other shipping stuff into dodgy places, and that sort of thing. The idea of firefighting with an aircraft that's got 8 jet engines pointing towards the ground doesn't really seem to work in my mind, but never mind. And what David did say, because I've interviewed him, he sounds quite normal when you interview him. He said, once certified, the Speeder aircraft would enable an operator to jump on, press start, and take off. And it will have a computer system that will immediately rebalance the engine thrust in whatever situation. That's an essential part of the safety systems.
That's probably in the same way that the computer system was running the forums at lightning speed before they actually were at lightning speed.
That's going to be tremendous when the motorcycle couriers of London get their hands on it.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Although they would make a good new Isle of Man TT.
Yes. Surely the tie-up has got to be to get Guy Martin to ride that round the Isle of Man TT course.
Yeah.
I would rather fly a gyrocopter than.
I think we suggested that first. Guy, if you're listening, there's your challenge.
it's not been a good week at the TT, I have to
No,
tell
it
you.
hasn't been a good week.
No, indeed. Right, let's move on to a slightly more sensible idea then, he says. From Ed. Well, not a sensible idea from Ed, but a story.
Yes. So Volocopter, you might remember them for they had a big multi-rotor aircraft. Well, they have they've gone down an avenue of wings, and that's because they recognise that their rotor-borne vehicles had some range, load, and performance limitations, and they reckon that by adding wings, their 4-seat passenger aircraft, the Voloconnect, it'll just have a bit more range. It'll offer faster journeys, and so they come up with this, the Voloconnect. It's got 6 rotors for vertical takeoff in what seems to be quite a common format now. These kind of 2 fore and aft bars. Quite a few people are going for that. But interestingly, they've got 2 fan packs on the side. They're electric fans, and so between the wings creating lift, the fans driving it forward, and the rotors for the vertical takeoff, Volocopter says the Voloconnect will give great range, faster journeys than any of their other Volocopter aircraft. They're planning a range of 60 miles, flight speed of 155 miles an hour. They're targeting 2026 entry into service for Voloconnect, while the 2-seat eVTOL Velocity is looking at commercial launch in 2024. These are all designed to meet EASA safety standards. And the prototype Voloconnect has made its flight just 17 months after the project was started. The first flight was 2 minutes and 14 seconds. So interesting stuff. But there's a whole raft of these eVTOLs, and it's kind of who's got the technology that's going to stick, isn't it? So
I think there was a story. I don't know if we've got it up on the website yet or not. I think Johnny stumbled over it or dug it out. Where was it Joby that has bought a?
Oh yeah, H2Fly.
H2Fly, which is basically bought into a kind of company specialising in working on hydrogen propulsion and aviation, hasn't it? And I'm kind of wondering whether all of these electric Volocopter people are all suddenly going, "Holy hell, that battery technology, it's not coming on fast enough at the moment, is it? What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And they're all kind of like Joby, who must have huge amounts of money staked on their future.
Yeah.
And various people must, perhaps, I'm putting words into their mouth here, went, "I think we might need a bit of that hydrogen hybrid stuff down here, so let's go buy it in."
Yeah, although funnily enough, it was Electroflight today announced that they've produced this modular, basically battery pack that you can use to stick in your aircraft projects. It's scalable and expandable.
Yeah. If it's for commercial use, they've still got to have this 45-minute reserve, haven't they? And so far, they're not even making 45 minutes at all. So,
yeah,
that'd be an IFR reserve, wouldn't it? But yeah, if it was commercial passenger flying, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think Claire B, who I know is in the audience, who's the electric Pipistrel instructor. Can't speak. Excuse me. When we went down to visit Claire in the Pipistrel, we were talking about battery packs that you put out and put in. And I think, when you look at them, they're so wide in. They've got actually a liquid cooling system as well in the Pipistrel. So putting them out and putting other ones in is not very easy. And the last thing you want to do is drop a lithium battery, A, because you don't want to damage it, B, because they're kin expensive. If you think Lycomings are expensive, try buying a whole bunch of lithium batteries. Yeah. And so the idea of putting them in and pushing them out and all of the liquid cooling and stuff is not really any, but maybe Electroflight have solved that, and they've got plug and plays, and maybe we will be sticking our little Duracell bunnies in the front of our aircraft. Who knows?
I think hybrid, as John Whiten says, and John knows his stuff when it comes to design, it's the only way to lift passengers for probably the next 10 years. But there's a whole lot of hybrid stuff going on. So
I
think John is probably right, and as you say, John knows his stuff.
Yeah, as Catkin says, you can always get a drone to deliver a new battery to you in midair.
Well, there was that. What was that absolutely mad idea where they were actually planning on doing that, and they were also planning on parachuting old batteries out as they went along to make it lighter as well. There was something like that. It was like, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
you can just imagine the certification progress chart. It's like, so what do you want to do? We're on the bit of the test now where we're going to drop the battery out.
Yeah, I think Johnny had the diagram for the certification progress chart earlier, didn't he? The brick wall behind him. Quite a few of those in it. Right, next story. Moving on. This is a good news story here. Johnny, this is you.
Oh yeah, So The two majority owners of Pipistrel, who are Taja and I'll get some pronunciation wrong here, Ivo Boscarol. Obviously, Textron bought the company recently, and they've spent some of their cash. They've donated 21 million euros to their local community and built a new health clinic, which also includes a multi-purpose helicopter service at the airport. And I'm not going to pronounce the name of the airport because I've got no idea, and I'll let Dave do that when I've finished. They're also going to produce or build an aviation history museum with a STEM centre by 2026. And yeah, the locals are really, really pleased about it. The mayor was throwing his arms up and waving and putting his thumbs up in some photos I saw. They had a signing ceremony. And basically, Ivo said that the whole community had supported them over the past however many years, and this was something that they were going to pay back and put something back into the community.
Amazing. Great news.
Go on, Dave. What was the town called?
Advertina.
Oh, he's actually had a go as well.
I've had a go. Yes. I have to look it up. I have to look it up.
Okay, almost at the end of the news. A little bit of a sad story here, although this is not completely a news story. I had an email from Samantha Hutton. We had an email over the last couple of days. I don't. Many people will know this already, but Anthony Hutton, who used to run the squadron at Northfield, ran a whole bunch of shows there in the early days. Anthony here passed away sadly at the end of March in France, where he is now living. But I'm not sure everyone was aware of that. I'm not sure we were completely aware of it, but I thought it was just worth a quick mention there. Sam is doing well, obviously missing Anthony. So there you go. I remember talking to Tony once, and he was telling me about his flying. We were talking about, there's an island in Tampa, which I can't remember the name of now, that we'd been to and used. And he said, I did some Mustang flying over there. There was a friend of mine who said that if I stuck the fuel in, I could fly his Mustang. So I was like filling my boots every day. And he kind of came up to me after a couple of weeks. He went, Tony, don't kick the ass out of it, okay? So I thought it was quite funny at the time. But there you go. So, right. Johnny, your turn again.
Is it me again? Oh, yeah. Well, somebody asked the question.
Where's
Matt? I think he's in Dubai, and he's actually met up with his sister Zara, because Zara's ferrying a Cirrus from South Africa to, I think, Australia. I could be wrong, but basically it's coincided that they're there at the same time, so they've been doing loads of PR together. They've been on TV programs and radio shows together this week, and I think he might have moved on from there, but I'm not entirely sure because the website's not working for me. But yeah, he's in the Middle East.
Jolly good.
Excellent.
Jolly good. Right. Well, that's the end of the news. We are nearly at the time where we're going to be talking to James Hart. So just give us another 45, 50 seconds, James. I know you're waiting very patiently there in the back of a restaurant, doing the washing up or something while you're there. But let's just, this was just a little game we thought we'd have a quick play and get some votes from you people out there. We decided to call this Retro Yay or Retro Nay. And this was brought about, I didn't have time to make a really classy jingle for that today, unfortunately.
Oh, that's really lucky.
I know, sorry about that. I have got some pictures. Yeah, we noticed there's been a bit of a trend recently of some retro kind of paint schemes. The latest to hit the market was the Cessna 182. So Textron Cessna 182, go and buy a brand new 182, which is going to be well over £500,000, dollars, euros, whatever. And it comes painted like this in the old retro scheme. So what do you think? Is that a retro yay or a retro nay?
Oh, yay or nay in the comments, people. What do you think? I've got to say, it's all right, but I'm not sure about the big Cessna logo on the door.
I'd give it a yay if they move the logo, maybe to the tail.
Yeah.
Oh, mind you, there is a logo on the tail, actually, isn't there?
Yeah.
There is, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. There's a strong response. We've got yay, yay, nay, yay, nay, vile, yay.
Yeah.
Yay, yay. It looks like a yay.
It looks like yay. I'm going.
New paint scheme. Nay, yay.
Yeah. I'm going for not a very strong nay, because I wouldn't want to spend £500,000 on an airplane that looks like it's from anyway. And then we got this next thing, the Beach Bonanza 75th anniversary retro scheme. What do you reckon to that one? Is that a retro yay or a retro nay?
That's a yay, isn't it? That's kind of nice. They went with an olive and colour from their kind of origins and did it smartly.
Yeah. Well, any takers in the comments? I think that's got to be a yay. I think
it's a good yay. We've got some yays. We've got some like it. Trent 772, very harsh critic, much better.
Good. And if anyone out there is a nay, then I think they should probably just click off now before we boot them out. Oh, David White.
The tail logo looks too modern. I was think it's a giant B on the fin, and it's great if you call Bruce, but otherwise,
yeah.
Okay. And lastly, for comparison, 100 Years of Flight. Remember that? Seems like ages ago now, doesn't it? I suppose it was ages ago. Cirrus produced a special airplane called a Centennial. I can't remember if they built 5 of them or 100 of them or whatever it was. I can't remember, you can't really tell up close, but it's a really weak and insipid brown, a little bit like.
I think I was working on a brown photo for you, wasn't I? And I forgot to upload it. But like
okay.
it says, this one looks a bit white, but it was just like, right at the moment, Cirrus have got the Himalayan Salt aeroplane, which is just a longhand version for saying it's pink. This one was linen, wasn't it?
It was linen. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. and it was quite. It was on the brown side of white.
It was. I would give that a definite nay. I think if you when you go into the shop and you go, can you match this? I think someone probably went into B&Q from Cirrus or their local Lowe's, or you go, I've got this diluted diarrhea here. Can you get this colour map for me? And it was just horrible. It was horrible. Nasty beige. I agree with you. It was bloody grim. Anyway,
it was a bit like Magnolia.
It was worse than Magnolia. Looks sophisticated next to that, really. Right, let's bring in James. Hello, James. Thank you for being so patient. Let me just put you up here and make you into a big person. There you go. Look at that. I'm going to have Johnny at the top because he's going to lead this. There you go. Welcome, James. Johnny.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, James.
You.
What's the weather like at Farway today?
Well, I'm not actually at Farway. I'm actually sat in the back of a very nice restaurant in Dubrovnik. And the co-owner of Farway Common Airfield sat on her own out in the restaurant, so I could do this with you gentlemen tonight. So she's probably watching on her phone quite covertly right now, calling us all sorts of funny names. But it's great here, but it's been raining all day, actually. So looking forward to getting back and getting ready for our big fly next weekend.
Yeah, so just give us a bit of background about yourself, when you got into flying, what you fly, how long you've been flying.
Right, so I've been flying for best part of 30 years. It's something that I always wanted to do. Unfortunately, my eyesight was never good enough to become a commercial pilot, so unfortunately I had to settle with a Class 2. I started flying, learnt up at Compton Abbas Airfield, been flying all sorts of interesting machines in interesting places, but the current machine that I fly is the only Navion Rangemaster in the UK, which is quite an interesting aeroplane, 5-seat retractable wobbly prop machine that can go pretty much anywhere, get in and out of a very short field, yet also has got the best part of an 1,800-mile range.
Wow.
So obviously we know about the sad case of Terry Case passing, but how did you personally come to own Farway and become the custodian of it?
Right. Yeah. So it's quite a humbling experience, actually. So I still can't quite believe I've managed to achieve the dream that so many other people keep telling me is their dream too. But basically, I was out at the back of lockdown last year with my fiance, and we were driving to Lyme Regis for fish and chips one night. And we've always passed Farway Common, and every single time we pass it, I've always said, well, if I own the airfield, I would do this with it, I'd do that with it. And we're driving along the road, and there was a for sale sign. So we screeched to a halt, almost ended up going through the bushes, saw it the next day. We were very saddened because there was a sale agreed sign around the other side of the farm. So we thought we'd lost it. But yeah, we managed to get hold of it. And I have to say, I think it was quite important to Terry's family that it was going to stay as an airfield and very much continue on the legacy that he had started, which is obviously the plan for what we're going to be doing moving forward.
Yeah. And have you been kind of, well, I guess you've been mucking in and getting dirty and transforming things, and what's it been like? Has it been hard work?
Well, I think Jeremy Clarkson actually, Jeremy Clarkson's farm is probably slightly less chaotic than what Farway's been over the past few months. But been learning to drive tractors and mow grass and get rid of mohills and all sorts of other things. But we've invested quite a lot of money into the place. So one of the first things we did was got some proper drainage put in. So we've got drainage running up and down the east-west runway, which was particularly bad. The north-south runway's always been pretty good. So there you go. Got a picture. That's our first lorry of aggregate turning up. There was about 200 tons of aggregate went into the ground. So the east-west runway is now properly drained. It's a little bit bumpy in places, but it is a work in progress. It's coming on. There's been quite a lot going on with that, getting the hangar sorted out, the radio station as well. And we've also got a certificate of agreement in place for Border Force, so we can come in and out internationally as well, which is quite a useful place to do that if people want to come in and out for the Channel Islands and France, etc.
Yeah. What have the locals been like? Have you had any trouble, or have they been glad to see somebody buy it and keep it as an airfield? I know you mentioned the family, but what about local people?
So far, so good, to be honest with you. We've been pretty sympathetic to them. I think most people don't want to see change when you buy a place like that, and certainly that's not what we've been trying to do. We don't want to turn it into the next Gatwick Airport. We're just trying to keep it very much the way it is. And we're quite careful about the procedures that are there. When people want to come into the airfield, they need to PPR, and on there some procedures, for example, circuit direction, circuit height. Staying away from cottages and some of the dwellings that are around the place. But so far, so good. And we really want to work with those people, to be honest with you, because we feel that it's a valuable asset for the local area.
Yeah. So what have you got based there at the moment?
Aircraft-wise, we've got an air van, which is belonging to Matt from the Bulkby Academy. So he's got an aircraft base there now. We've got 2 gyrocopters, my Navion, and we've got 1 or 2 other people who are looking at basing their aircraft locally there at the minute.
Brilliant. So are you open 7 days a week? Are there any kind of restrictions that people need to know about?
No, so we're open sunrise to sunset, 7 days a week. The only real restriction is you need to go online and PPR online so that you can see what the instructions for using the place are. But people are welcome there. We're not always there, but our facilities there for people, so they can make tea and coffee if they come in. One of the things we are trying to do is really try to make it at some point a bit more of a destination of an airfield. As you guys know, like myself, I fly around the UK a lot into small airfields, and whether it's for going off for business meetings or for family and other things like that. And it's great when you arrive at a lovely little airfield. You go, oh, it's a beautiful, pretty airfield. Well, you have a cup of tea and you sort of scratch your head and, well, what do we do now? Well, there's not a lot else to do. Farway's a little bit like that, so we're trying to change that. So firstly, we've got the ability for people to sit and have picnics and make tea and coffee and things like that, but we're in the process of putting a couple of airfield cars in place so that when you land with your aircraft, you can pick up a car and you can go off into local Sidmouth or Exmouth or Honiton, etc. So it's a little bit more of a destination that way. And long term, trying to get some accommodation on site as well.
Brilliant. Amazing. Wow, yeah, I've never really heard of the whole crew car concept in the UK, but well done.
Well, I've done it before. So the place I did it was Isle of Man, actually, where I landed there, and they have a Ford, or they did at the time have a Ford KA, and with a Ford KA you could literally land, pick up the Ford KA, and I think that KA had done more laps of the TT circuit than most motorbikes, and had been thrashed to death. And I landed and used that, so it was rather good. So that's where I got the idea from. That and my good friend Brendan up at Glenforza, he does very much the same thing sometimes and make a car available. It's definitely the right thing to do with a small airfield.
And have you been kind of tackling this all between the two of you, or have you got any volunteers that help out?
Really, it's very much just been Catherine, who's my fiance, and myself. Our children have been fantastic and been very helpful with learning to drive tractors and mowing grass and things like that. We've got a couple of local guys, local farmer by the name of Eric, and a local boat builder actually who's been helping. But yeah, very much it's just been a family affair, to be honest with you, for the time being. Yeah, the more volunteers in the future, the better, I think.
Yeah. So tell us about the flying. Oh, sorry, Ian, you go.
I just wondered how long when was it you actually moved in?
Well, we acquired the place in January, so it's literally been the last 6 months.
Okay, so it's all new and shiny.
It's all very new and shiny, and it's I tell you what, it's very different going from being just a pilot to actually owning an airfield and sitting on the other side of the fence. It's quite interesting. But in terms of I think Johnny asked about the flying. So our faraway flying and welcome flying is on Saturday next week, so on the 18th of June. Obviously hoping for the weather. I think the long-term forecast, it's looking reasonable. I think it's going to be flyable on the weekend. During the day, we've got the LAA doing their normal Devon Struck flying. So we're expecting approximately, hoping for about 100 aircraft during the day. The Microlight Rally are actually overnighting with us on Saturday night as well. So we've got the Microlights joining us later on in the afternoon. And then in the evening, we've got a hog roast, we've got a barn dance, and we've got the barbing run by Branscombe Brewery. Hopefully having a big news up in the evening. So I think, well, I certainly hope Terry would have been very pleased with that and Sydney Airfield going forward, and also becoming a resource for the local, for the local flying community. And the other thing is that we've just worked on our new sticker. We've actually got a fly-in sticker, so I'll show you that in a second if you come back to me. There we go. It's just been designed by my future son-in-law Callum. And that's going to be our flying sticker. That If you come in, you'll be able to grab that and stick it on somewhere.
Brilliant.
Very good. I think you're having the European Luscombe flying as well, I think, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. So Nigel Barrett and his team of the European Luscombes will be flying in. That's later on. That's later on in the year. That's in July. The exact date I will just double check for you. Which is the 20. Yeah, so it's from the 22nd through to the 24th is the Luscombe flying, but it's known as the Luscombe and Friends. So if you've got an association with Luscombes, if you're interested with those aircraft, or if you know any of us, you'll be also welcome on that day too. So that should be quite a nice and interesting day there up at Farway.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Any kind of long-term plans that you can share with us?
Yeah, I think so long term with the airfield, what we're really trying to do is I want to make it haven for people who are passionate about aeroplanes and about small strips. Certainly I am. I've been flying for the best part of 30 years. I've made great use of farm strips, whether it's flying around the UK for business, for seeing my customers or suppliers, through to recreational as well. And I'm very passionate about keeping airfields open and available for people. I want Farway to be very much that. That's the first thing. Secondly, is just getting the runways looking great. Basically, I want the runways to look like a cricket pitch long term. That's very much the plan. We want it to, as I said earlier, to be a destination with vehicles, refreshments available, and potentially some accommodation in the future, possibly some hangars later on. But we've got to go through quite a long planning process for all of that sort of thing. So that sort of thing first.
And
sorry,
I've got a question. Obviously, one of a handful of owners to have the kind of the dream situation of owning an airfield. Yeah. If you had if in your fancy hangar, obviously the Navion is lovely, but is there anything that you would love to have based at Farway?
Well, so long term, well, if I could buy the field next door, I'd probably put an old Warbird in there. But I think probably keeping my feet a little bit on the ground, probably something along the lines of one of the Highlander Stoles or a Carbon Cub, something along that line would be quite nice. Something on a summer's afternoon or evening to be able to open the windows, dangle your foot out the door, and fly down low over the sea. That'd be lovely.
Fantastic.
Richard Kennedy says, "Can you camp in the short term before any accommodation?"
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, camping's available on site. There is a loo available and a small kitchenette. The facilities are pretty basic, to be honest, but camping's definitely available for people if they'd like to camp up there.
Nice. Good stuff. Brilliant. Right, I'm just trawling through the comments. Have you guys seen any?
Well, yeah, to kind of sum it up, you know, Paul Cadell knows a strip better than most people, and he's been to a few. But like he says, thanks for taking on wonderful Farway, James, and your partner. It's certainly fantastic. Thank you. You've saved that for GA.
Certainly the long term plan. Thank you. No, and I have to say we're very humbled as well. You know, on a warm Saturday afternoon to see one of the fields, you know, sort of full of aeroplanes, and to know that, you know, flying, as we all know, is something that's very expensive, takes a lot of commitment, the cost of fuel, cost of maintenance, all of that sort of stuff. To actually come and you know, spend some time with us, come and pay their £10-15 landing fee, and come into our field, it's so much appreciated, and yeah, we're very humbled by that. It's fantastic. So, you know, thanks to everybody who's been in so far, and thank you to those in the future who's going to come in and see us.
James, I have a question for you. It's like it's a bit like a quiz question. It's the only way I can think of. It's the only way I can think of getting this story in. That I think another story that Johnny spotted today.
Yes.
How much do you think it is per litre of avgas at Oxford Airport today?
It would surprise me if it was £2.50 a litre.
Okay, guess how much it is. Well, I've just asked you that. What a stupid question. Excuse me, people. £3.
Holy Christ, that's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. I was in the States just about 3 weeks ago, and the cost of aviation fuel there, it's still about £1 a litre. So I don't understand why it's going up to, you know, sort of levels that we're seeing in the UK. It's just unbelievable. It's going to kill everything from the airport.
There was a post that Johnny spotted from Oxford saying, "Great news! We've got our sort of self-serve pumps. You can come in, you can get your fuel, you can run away again." Slightly bad news is that it's now £3 a litre.
That's
£3 a litre.
Unbelievable.
That's a shocking.
If that's pay at pump, do you turn up and you put a gold bar into the pump?
Mad, absolutely mad. Just so you, one of the things I've done, if it's been useful, this is actually sorry for being a short plug. There's a company called Anglo American Oil Company. In fact, I think, Ian, you printed a press release about them some years ago, actually, who import avgas in barrels, and you can buy it for substantially cheaper than what you can at certainly Oxford and some of the local airfields that I've seen. And that might be worth a look at for people, especially if they're burning a lot of 100L.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth looking into for sure. I mean, £3 a litre is a shocking barrier through which. Yeah. But you know, I know there are some places on the mainland in continental Europe, as it were, where in Italy, where it's more expensive than that at the moment. So
yeah, it's crazy stuff. So there we go.
Absolutely. I think I can feel another quiz coming on next week. Perhaps. No, maybe not. Maybe not next week.
So if I can excuse myself now, because my very lovely fiance has been sat in this restaurant for about 45 minutes that way, and I probably need to go and buy another bottle of wine and enjoy the rest
Catherine,
of
if you're watching
together, if that's okay with you chaps.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you.
Cheers, James. She's a good girl.
See you soon. Cheers. Johnny, do you want to say it must be time?
Look forward to seeing you. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
See you, James. Right, must be time for.
Stratotamp said, maybe it's time for the Flyer Club fuel depot.
You think I'm made of money? Yeah.
And it's interesting what James had to say about buying fuel in barrels. Paul Fraser Benison said, I've just had 200 litres in a barrel for £1.70 a litre delivered. And someone said, is that plus VAT? And apparently, no, it's ink VAT. So, Paul, who was the supplier? Because I think we'd all, people will definitely be interested in that kind of thing if it's the kind of thing you can share. And as Jonathan Turner says, what a top guy. To James. Really looking forward to buying next week.
Right then, Ed.
Yes. So, Fancy Hangar, inspired by the news that the GA7 Cougar is returning to production, potentially in a new guise, it made us wonder, What general aviation twin that's been long forgotten would we bring back? So, who's first?
I think we're going to go with Dave first on this one.
Dave, what's it going to be?
Right, well, I've chosen a British classic, the Avro Anson, and the 19, as it's known. This is I think it's just a very beautiful aeroplane. Got the right proportions. It's almost like an English DC-3, and I think it's a lovely aeroplane. The first flight of this aircraft was 1935. It was in production until 1952. Astonishing figure: 11,000 of these were built.
What?
Yeah, 11,000. Yep. Most of them, of course, have not survived, partly because the wings rotted. But this one here in that picture is still flying. It's with the Shuttleworth collection. It still has its it's still flying with the Shuttleworth collection. Still has a certificate of airworthiness. It's powered by 2 Armstrong Siddeley Cheetah engines, i.e. 7-cylinder radials producing 385 horsepower each. Probably that'll be one of the things you change on a reinvented.
So what in your reproduced twin? What would you power it with, Dave?
Well, Jared, I haven't really given that a great deal of thought.
And can we just flash the picture of the Anson back up?
Right.
Are you going to change? Because it looks like they've flown the aeroplane into a greenhouse.
I like that. I think that's a bit like a Lancaster, and you could just sort of kid yourself if you're flying a Lancaster.
Nick Allen very kindly says a conservatory with an aeroplane on the back.
It's yeah. Well, it's a valiant attempt. Well done, Dave.
Killed with faint praise.
Johnny, I'm going to make you go next.
All right, I've gone for it's kind of called the Blackburn B1, but it was also known as the Seagrave apparently, and it's basically a light twin commercial. Well, it kind of reflected some commercial relationships between Saunders Roe, BAE, and some chap called Sir Henry Seagrave, who held a land speed record. But I think it's actually a good-looking light twin. I'd stick a couple of 915 ISs in it, maybe. We spoke earlier. I mean, if you go back to that first picture, I mean that profile's not too bad, but there the undercarriage looks a bit ungainly, so maybe you'd find a new way to connect it all and put some trousers on it, maybe. But actually, it's not that bad looking, to be fair, from pretty much any angle. It does have a massive wing, as Ian pointed out earlier, but the profile looks pretty decent. It was originally powered by, I've got it somewhere in here.
An engine.
An engine, yeah.
2 engines, in fact.
Somebody put some Cirrus Hermes 4A engines in it, which were 120 horsepower each.
Now, interestingly, Dan Air 28 actually said the Seagrave Blackburn Meteor.
Ooh.
Wow. Yeah.
What are the chances of 2 people picking something that weird?
I know. Yeah. Dan's like, maybe you put LOM engines in the Meteor. That's a good shout, Dan.
Yeah, and actually, to put it into context, this first flew in 1930.
Can I say at this point, somebody's got it right.
Well, but to be fair, Dave, to balance that, Stuart Roos says Dave has a contender, but he'll still lose.
That's true. I'm going to go next before we get to the winner. I kind of like mucked around with this and thought, what could I have? I don't know. I was going to have de Havilland Dove because I thought I've flown a de Havilland Dove for about 5 minutes in the cruise, and it was kind of it was a not unpleasant aeroplane. It had that kind of oil, leather, decaying kind of smell about it that you get in old airplanes, kind of thing. And it always amazes me. I think that had 2 Cirrus Majors in it, I think, or something maybe. or maybe even a bit bigger than that. I can't remember. Anyway, they both started as a result, I think, on something like that. But it was just a kind of, it was a very nice, gentle thing. But it was also one of those things where you looked at it, you think, okay, if you brought that back into production, which is the kind of whole point of this this fantasy hangar, it's really just going to be a place where say, don't bother digging a hole to shovel money in it. You can have something that looks like an airplane and shovel money in that instead, because I reckon that's pretty much what you'd be doing. But you know, it's not bad. So in the end, I went for something that I believe is a generally underrated but nonetheless modern classic. And this airplane is a very, very special place in my heart. There you go. This one's a 1963 Aztec, one of the first Aztecs that came after the Apache, I think it was, that came before that. This particular one's powered by a couple of Lycomings, 250 horsepower side. They'll probably drag it along at somewhere north of 150 miles an hour, which is not hugely fast for like 500 horsepower, I grant you. But the beauty about this airplane is it's got some pretty nice handling, but it's the wing. It's got a big slab of a super forgiving wing, and I honestly think I did my multi-engine training, some of my US multi-engine training in an Aztec, in the sister airplane to that one, funnily enough. I did my American CPL in it and my American CPL-IR upgrade in it, and I genuinely think that wing probably saved my life on at least one occasion when I was flying that. So I'll be forever thankful to the people who designed that wing. Thank you very much. And it is a classic. The Aztec is a classic, commonly known as the Az-Truck for good reason. It's a very benign, lovely twin. So there you go. That would be my
What
choice.
engines, Ian, would you use?
I wouldn't. That's got O540s in it. I wouldn't put IO540s in it because I hate the idea. One of the things that absolutely turns an airplane from a thing of beauty into a pile of poo for me is an airplane that won't start, and a hot IO540 when you need to restart it, let alone restarting two of them, is a complete nightmare. I would probably stick with the O540s and stick with the classic rumbling look, even if fuel is £3 a litre for side.
Don't forget, Lycoming have got an ultra modern IE2 version of that 540 with electronic ignition that the Tecnam use on the P2012.
That's true, actually. That's true. I haven't flown that yet. I haven't given that a go. The other day, when we were flying the DA50, which has obviously got the CD300, one of the beauties about that whole diesel engine range is, regardless of the condition of the engine, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, whatever it is, you go engine master on, little glow plug light goes out, button, press, and it starts. It doesn't matter whether it's hot, cold, or anything else. It's like your car. It's fantastic. It's as airplanes should be. You don't really want a £1 million airplane that you're sitting there going, It's just like so annoying. So, and as you described so aptly, Ed, it's an airplane that you then want to fix with a hand grenade. So, no. There you go. Aztec for me.
Very good. Good choice. So that leaves me, and
you.
Yes, I went a little way back, and I picked this. It's the Percival you've never heard of. You've probably never heard of. It's the Percival Q6.
Sorry, is that one of your photos?
No, this is so the Q6 is so rare. There's very few photos of it, and this is actually it's apparently quite popular in the flight sim world. And this is a render of a Q6. But there was there were two versions. It was Percival's first twin-engined aircraft. It was wood structure. First flight was 1937. They built 27 of them. And if you can just go back to that first photo, most of them were the trousered undercarriage. And as you know, I do love a trousered undercarriage. A small number were exported. One went to King Ghazi, the first of Iraq. Two went to the Lithuanian Ministry of Communications. One to Australia. The Egyptian Air Force had some. The Royal Air Force had most of them, and they flew them, and they unofficially called them the Petrel. And a whole bunch were requisitioned during World War II, and then those were sold back to civilian buyers. A few small UK airlines used them. Some were used as executive transports, and then a few were flown by PPLs. 4 to 6 passengers, 205 horsepower de Havilland Gypsy 6 engines, 650 nautical mile range, 150 knot cruise, and approach speed was a low 60 knots. What excitingly, one still exists, and that's being restored to flight by Ford Air and should fly next year. And I reckon if I return this to production, I'll probably use the long 337 engine, which is supercharged 6-cylinder inline with 210 horsepower. So I reckon that's a good fit. Otherwise, I think trousers and all, I'd leave it just as it is, because it looks just fine. So, Adrian Norris, can we say no one has won tonight?
Okay, who's lost least then?
Well, Kakin, Dave gets my vote. Chris Winch says that's a twin Proctor, surely. Pete Pengelly says DH Dragonfly. Pete, I would have picked the Dragonfly, but I've picked Dragonfly once before, and it's already in my fancy hangar. And interestingly, you also suggested, if I can find it, where is it? It is the Wing Derringer. Ian's flown this. We did it for a flight test a few years ago. Fantastic little. It's almost like a tiny twin com, isn't it? 2 seats. Yeah. 260 horsepower Lycomings, unbelievably complex. Just it's like chemically machined skins,
chemically milled skins.
Yeah, and just a fantastic thing. And just they thought, hey, we're going to make a 2-seat twin. That's definitely what the market wanted. No, it wasn't, but it is beautiful. Good choice that. Nigel Hitchman, 2 great choices: Aero 45 or DH Dragonfly. Yeah, the Aero 45 is lovely. Johnny, was that you flashing up your Johnny Wins?
Yeah. My other choice, which I didn't pick, was going to be the On-Mark Marksman.
Ooh, that's quite big though, Johnny. That might not be in the realm of GA, because that's a converted A26 Invader, isn't it?
Yeah, for GA.
Wouldn't it be a bit heavier than 5,700 kilos?
Hang on, let me Google that.
Yes. I'll leave you with that. I think the answer might be yes.
I think the answer might be yes.
Yeah, 11 tons.
There we go. Beagle 206 or de Havilland Dove. David Eads says Twin Comanche. Martin Hand says Ian wins.
Thank you, Martin.
Dave wins so far.
Derek Ings. Derek Ings live. That's unusual.
Yeah. Ian Course, rvuk.co.uk says de Havilland Comet. Yes, yeah. Ian says Jane. John O'Holland
1963, Jane.
Yeah, Ed, yours is better to be good. Well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Ian, you're on form. Catkin says, how about the DO28A? Ed wins. Dave White says, a YI Reg, is that from Newcastle? Very good. A nicely trousered undercarriage, true to form. Ian wins, Ed wins. Thank you, Claire. On the Q, yeah, as Nigel says, on the Q6, one being rebuilt slowly at seething. Ian wins. Ian a very close second. What else have we got?
Claire's joining the diplomatic corps there.
Yeah, Ian's is least evil.
That's like,
two reminders. Someone did make a twin RV6. Why did they do that?
Yeah,
that's a good question. Why did they do that?
Claire B, DH88 Gemini, good shout. I nearly picked that. The Moravia, that's quite nice, and the Rapide, obviously lovely. We can say it, but Ed does. What does Ed do?
I wonder.
Ginger Jeff says Dave wins. Johnny wins by a micron. How about a Gemini? Surely that's Ed. Are you trying to lose on purpose? Harsh. Sikorsky S36. I think that might be a seaplane. I'm gonna have to double check on that. Marcus Clark just went with wins.
Yeah.
Well, Dave wins apparently. There we go.
Jolly good. We'll call that a. Ian is new at the hostels. Ian's is new.
I don't know.
No.
Adrian Norris maybe was preempting your. We'll call that a win for everyone. No.
Yeah. Okay. No. Right, we'll call that a Liz for everyone. We'll come up with something else. And next week, if you're coming to the pod talk, then you can talk. You can bring your own literally into the audience if you're going to come and do that.
What we might do with that is we'll come up with fancy hangar a bit earlier than usual, and then if you fancy, you can bring along a picture and hold it up, and then we can ridicule you unmercifully.
Sounds good to me. Right, time to move on because we're already 3 minutes over, so I think it's time for the events thing, Dave.
Okay, let's rustle through these very quickly. From today until Saturday, there's a France Air Expo at Bron near Lyon. Friday to Sunday, that's tomorrow till Sunday, the Guernsey Air Rally. Saturday, it's the Grasshopper Gathering at Bodmin, the 11th one. Also on Saturday, Blackbush is celebrating its 80th anniversary with the flying.
Wow.
Over Saturday and Sunday, also celebrating, is the Lancashire Aero Club at Barton. They're 100, not out. Sunday, remember this, it's the RAF Cosford Air Show. Don't go there. Don't go in, fly in there. And also on Sunday, it's a strange one. This is the Jaguar Owners Club Flying Day at Popham. Looking ahead to next week, it's another big busy weekend. You might want to start planning it, 18th and 19th. Down south, of course, it's a reopening of Faraway Common with a combined welcome and LAA flying. Up north, it's the summer solstice flying at Easter Airfield. And I thought anyone who does both events, Faraway Common and Easter, take a camera, write about it. That's a great flying adventure there.
A little heads up for anyone who's going to the Barton 100 years and not out kind of thing, and you're going via the low-level corridor, take a look at the thread on the Flyer Forum. They're quite particular about using the low-level corridor squawk, and if you Google it, and there's a link in the thread as well, there's a little link to a CE document explaining it all almost clearly and almost up to date, but it's not bad for the CA. So have a look at that. So.
Yeah. One last event, only because it's a long way ahead. It's on July the 7th. I'm including that because you need to book for it if you want to go. It's the Gasco Military Civil Air Safety Day. It's at RAF Halton. You can fly in, but you've got to book it. So
a great opportunity to go to Halton.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, further ahead, Kitty Hawk flying 26th of June. That was a big success last year, wasn't it? So
yeah, and you'll be able to read about Sarah's flying adventure very soon in the probably later this month, I think.
Yes, it will
around
be
Africa
in the next issue, but also obviously on the website first. Yeah,
very good.
Johnny has pointed something out. He said, "Ed, please reply to Dermot." Dermot has posted saying, "Ed, my wife does not believe I met you at Aero. She said you are famous and good looking. When are you going to send that picture we took together?" Mickey, I have that photo. I will send it to you. But your wife is clearly mistaken. I'm neither.
Send that picture. Johnny.
So Dave White is ready with his webinar and he's emailed me earlier. I've not had full chance to digest it yet. I'm reading it here. But yeah, we're going to sort a date out possibly next week for his webinar about flying further into Europe. And then once that's done, I think we've got Darren Lewington lined up for one all about air traffic control and how to not annoy them. And that was only for Fly Club members. So if you're not a member, go to fly.co.uk, hit the membership button at the top, and you can join for just £30 for the full year at the moment. And the price is going up very soon.
Yeah. Now we got the forums working. We're going to let those work for a week, so we make sure they all work properly. Then we're going to announce the date, which is going to be about 4 weeks ahead, and then at that point it will go up. So if you are a member already, thank you very, very much for joining and becoming a member. If you're not a member already, please consider it and become a member. Why not? I think that is about it for now, unless anyone's got anything else. So thank you, everybody, for watching and joining us. Thank you, team. And we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday afternoon for the live stream extra, next Thursday at Aerospace Bristol, hopefully, or if not, online. So
yeah, live stream live.
Live stream live. Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.
Stay safe, everyone. Oh, there we go.